So yeah, absolutely delighted to be joined by Neil Warnock on behalf of Scarborough Athletic. Neil, firstly, been a while since we last chatted. You were last at the Flamingo Stadium. Just how are things doing for you at the moment?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've done 3 shows at the moment, and I've got Scarborough coming up with Middlesbrough. So I've right enjoyed it, being able to look back at my career and tell some funny stories and be able to get a bit off my chest at the same time. It's been good, really.
Yeah, and you talked, there about being busy, but you miss not being in the dugout with with the team at the moment?
I do up to a point, but when I see some of my pet referees, I've not really missed certain things of the game. So I have probably got a little bit more accepting where I am now than where I am, because I've had other things on my mind to do, and I've been able to go to places like Scarborough. I enjoyed coming to that game. What an exciting game! 2-0 down with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
So it's really it's given me something else now. I think when you retire, whatever you do, to suddenly be working all your life and then bang, it's really strange. So it's given me that little bit in my mind at ticking over and thinking back to when I was starting football and with Cloughie was at the other side of Nottingham where I was, and the managers I've dealt with over the years, your Wengers and Fergusons and Benitez and all them. It's been nice to be able to talk about them.
Yeah, and speaking of those quite high profile names, Jonathan Greening seems to be doing quite a decent job, doesn't he, at the moment at Scarborough?
Absolutely, yeah. When I mean, when they scored the 2 goals, I said to him, he was down. We went down on the tunnel, and I went, "Can I come in the dressing room, Jonathan?" Yeah, come on in. And I just said to the team, "Well done, lads." I said, 2-0 down, 2 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go, whatever it was. I said, "That's one of my teams, that."
Yeah.
And I remember at Derby County when we got promotion, 2-0 down in injury time. Jamie Mackey scored 2 goals with QPR. So it was great to relate to that. And Jonathan got a really good squad. They seemed a very level-headed group, played some good football as well. So I'm glad that they started off well the season. I think it's asking too much to get them up there the first season, but hey, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, they are they are lingering at the moment in the playoff places, which is quite an extraordinary achievement. Neil, you've had some quite incredible squads that you've put together in the past. You look at the likes of Rotherham, at Cardiff. You've had some really strong at Scarborough as well to mention. I guess when you walked into that dressing room, did you have sort of a feeling that the squad is quite tight knit at the Flamingo Stadium this year?
Absolutely, yeah. You could see the camaraderie around that dressing room. I know it's all right when you've just come back from almost a position that you're not going to get anything. 5 minutes to go, and then all of a sudden you get 2-2. But I think you've got to have certain types of characters to keep going like that. It's easy to throw the towel in. So I think Jonathan's built a good squad. They've got, like I said, they've got different types of players. I think they can play. They can change the systems when they want to. And I'm looking forward. I always look straight away to see how they've gone on, and that will continue. Hopefully, they can keep going up the table.
And again, the fan base have been absolutely excellent this year. I think they're averaging about 1,600 per match day, which again, Neil, is something that I guess you experienced when you were over here on the East Coast. The fan base getting behind the football club.
It was brilliant. I mean, it was almost like a sleeping giant then. I mean, when I got the job, I thought it was like getting a Manchester United job. The stand was the best in the league. The ground was, it's been sad for me on the outside looking at the decline. And I've got to say, I think there's been a few broken promises from the council up there. They told me they'd never build on it, and we couldn't get permission to do what we wanted to do. And then to see it run down like it was, are you with me? It was very sad. So I'm really pleased that they've come back into town now. They've got a progressive board, the committee and whatever. They've got so many volunteers that on the day when I met the volunteers, they're all so happy and keen. And it's lovely to see a smiling face like that at Scarborough again. And, to come out of the fire, almost out of the embers and start building again. And, I hope in my lifetime they actually managed to get back in the league.
Yeah, it's not it's definitely not out of the realms of possibility. But I guess as well, nice for you to see how Trevor and the board are running the football club in a sustainable way, and the way that they're not putting the future of the club in jeopardy at all.
Not at all, no. And yet Jonathan's never complained. He just gets on with it. He has what he's got, and I think with what he's got, he's created a really competitive team, and that's all you can do as a manager. You know, I can tell that he's enjoying it himself, the challenge. Yes, he'll have his lows, and that's where that's where the chairman comes in and gives him a pat on the back, and you know, you've got to have that togetherness. But everything seemed really going straight forward for me when I came around the seams, like you said, in the sponsors lounge. I met a few of those, and the chairman and all that, and they were really positive.
And what was it, Neil, about Scarborough that continued to bring you back? Because I know that you brought a couple of your sides back for pre-season tours. I think there was a bowling incident as well at one point. It seemed like Scarborough was always held quite high in your heart.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't forget something like that when you're a manager, young manager as well. You know, we only had 2 players that were retained that summer when I got the job, and I took about 40 players over and signed about 17 of them. And then to put a squad together, and you'll see when I'm at the Spa in November in a few weeks' time, you'll see probably 9 or 10 of my old players. They'll all be there, and they've got such a good togetherness. You know, we had a reunion a while ago, and Mitch Cook organised it, and everybody were there. It was, you know, quite moving for me to see them looking around when they probably weren't watching me. I looked at the players, and they had that same, all of them had that little different characters that came together, and we got a successful team. And that's why you'll get them all turning up again, because, you know, you look at a lot of the Premier League teams now, and they kiss the badge and off they go. They'll never have reunions. And yet 1986, 87, and here we are in 2022, and these lads still have reunions, and there's still that togetherness. I'm really proud of the squad that we built, and we loved it at Scarborough. I loved the town. You know, we socialised as well when we were up there, and everybody was really good together. Never forget the open top bus ride when we won it the next day, and you know, having the reception at St Nicholas. It was, you know, they're fabulous days, and I won't forget them. And hopefully they can have some more of those.
And were you, you know, when obviously when it inevitably came to the time when you had to leave Scarborough in a managing capacity, were you, I guess, was there a sadness within you that I guess something had come to an end?
Yeah, I mean, it was a special time in my life, really. I mean, you know, Jeffrey Richmond came in at that time, and he wanted to do things the way he wanted to do things, and I didn't see eye to eye with him. So it was simple, really. When Notts County came in for me, it was just, you know, I knew that I had to leave to go. It was a couple of years later when I spoke to Jeffrey. He apologised to me, said that, you know, we could have done things, he would have done things differently if he had his time again. And I said to him, same. I could have done things differently as well, Jeffrey. So we were both a bit pig-headed. But you know, I went on to Notts County and had great success as well there. And that really set me off. Scarborough really set me off on my managerial career. And to hold the record appearances. I mean, they talk about 1,603 record appearances in the league, but I had about 250 to 300 non-league appearances before I came there. So what with my playing record, I've got to, you know, I must be over 2,000 odd. So it's, you know, I never thought I'd ever last the time I have, but that all comes down to the, you know, the Scarborough Athletic, the ground, and the people that I met, the players that died for me, and the camaraderie, and you know, it was a great time, and I'll, you know, never forget, very special time.
And you must have had some quite incredible memories as well, being there. I guess a couple of games may come to mind, do they, for moments when you thought this really is remarkable what we've created?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few games that come to mind. I remember going down to Sutton on a red hot day. The dust was in the goal mouths, and somebody told me before the game, I think 2 games to go, all the Barnet team were watching us and Barry Fry across the way. And I remember telling the lads when they ran out to go over to them and give them a clap in the stand, which they did. Every time Barry came to see us, we always won. He used to be gutted. So, I told him, don't let's disappoint him. And Blackie, the goalie, Kevin Blackwell was super that day. And we ended up winning. We beat Sutton, I think 1-0. Oh, no, it might have been 2. I think that's the day that Mitch Cook picked the ball up on the halfway line and his mother was behind the goal. And I remember him jinking in and out and round, and I'm saying, pass it. And he carried on and then chipped the goalie with a fantastic goal, ran around the back of the goal and gave his mum a cuddle as well, I think. And I think that was a time that I thought, well, I think we're going to get promotion here. It was a real special time there.
And you'll have, I know, plenty of stories to tell on when you're over in Scarborough next for your Are You With Me tour. You must be looking forward to coming back and reliving some of the tales that you've been able to tell.
Yeah, and especially the Spa. I mean, the Spa was always, when I was there in 86, it was always a special place, a magical place. And I used to walk past it when I was going on my walks on the beach and that. And then I went in it once, and it was just a fabulous atmosphere. Even when it was empty, never ever thought that I'd be able to come back and put my show on. So it is real. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a lovely venue, and I enjoyed the same at Sheffield. Went in the town hall. I used to go there when I was a youngster. So it was really special. And the Spa, I hope that we can get rid of sell the tickets. They're going quite well, and we can have a full house at the Spa. I'm sure this is something for everybody, and I'm trying to make people have an entertaining evening, have a laugh, enjoy themselves, and a lot of people will be looking back at the memories that we had. Most of the team will be there. I think there'll be at least 9 or 10 of them. They'll all turn up because that's how they are. As I've said to you earlier, that kind of closeness that they've always been. I'm sure they're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's on Saturday, the 19th of November, isn't it? I guess if there is anyone out there that maybe is a little bit, maybe I should get a ticket, maybe I shouldn't. What are they going to expect, Neil, from the evening? Not to give away too many spoilers, but it does sound an exciting evening.
It is. I'm talking about when starting when I was at Gainsborough and Burton Scarborough, to going to Notts County, and I'm coming across Brian Clough. He was at Forest, European winners, and 2 or 3 meetings with Brian, and 1 or 2 funny stories. I've got stories about Wenger and Ferguson and Benitez, and a few non-league stories as well. So there's a little bit for everything. What I noticed in my other shows that I've already had is it wasn't just people my age. The youngsters were there as well. The young men and young ladies were all there. I don't think it's a show for anybody under 18. I think the language might be a little bit, but sometimes you've got to have a little bit of language to put one of the stories over. I do think people will enjoy it, and I'm hoping that the Scarborough public turn out and I can give them a few memories of that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. And just finally, Neil, of course, you're very busy with your Are You With Me tour. Have you got anything else sort of lined up at the moment? I know in the last sort of maybe 3 or 4 months when there's been managerial jobs, your name has been floating about, as everyone would expect. But off the pitch, have you got anything else sort of lined up for the next couple of months?
No, I mean, I've got, like I said, I'm doing these shows. I've enjoyed, I never thought I'd ever enjoy doing things like podcasts, but we've got our own, You've Got to Die for 3 Points podcast now. Everybody using it. So David Prutton and myself we've done a couple so far. I'm enjoying doing the podcast, and I do enjoy the Twitter. I never thought I'd ever be on Twitter, but some of the things have made me laugh. And I think I put a smile on 1 or 2 other people's faces. So, my daughter and my son, William and Amy, they keep me informed about my Twitter, how many people's watching it and all. I said, how sad are they? But it's going well, and long may it continue.